In this lesson, I'll show you how to find a suitable journal for your research. Okay, so to get started, let's say you have an abstract here. So all you need to do is just copy this and just search for Elsevier Journal Finder. So Elsevier is one of those major publication companies which has hundreds of journals within them. Springer and Sage are another, but this Elsevier has a nice tool to find that out, to find out which of their journals your article fits the best. So all you need to do is just click on Find Journals after you have pasted the abstract in their website. This is the website journalfinder.elsevier.com, and once that's there, just click here. And so this is what it's showing me. So these are some of the journals that are available for me. So these are the 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, a lot of journals. And for each of these journals, you'll see the impact factor, citation score, time to first decision, time to acceptance, acceptance rate. And you can compare the journals based on that. So for example, what I personally want is the quickest possible decision time. So time to first decision is important to me, because the reason being that at a time, each of these journal will ask you to submit exclusively in their journal and not to their competitors or any other journal, even within their own publication house. So at a time, you can submit your research article to one of these journals only, if you follow their terms. Now, imagine that if you have, for example, for this journal, the time to first decision is 49 days. Now, what this means that if you submit your article to this journal today, then almost after 50 days, that's like about 2 month time, you have to wait to hear from them. And most likely it will be a rejection. Trust me, if this is the first time that you are planning to publish your research article, you will probably get rejected a lot whenever it comes to, submitting your work to these journals. And so don't worry about that. If you get rejected the first time, that's not anything to be worried about. There has been times when I have, for example, submitted one of my best work till now to, let's say, 12, 13, 14 journals, but rejected by them all. And then finally the 15th journal probably accepted it. And it probably took me 2-3 years time to get published. Because you can see why that makes sense. Because for each of these journals, I had to wait, let's say, 1 month, 2 months to get their rejection letter, right? So you have to be in that mindset that it will be rejected probably a dozen of times before it will get accepted. So do not worry about that. Do not worry about rejection. But what you need to worry about is get that rejection as quickly as possible. So the way these journals function is that when you send your article to these journals, what they do is the editor, the editor-in-chief probably, they go through your work first. And if they feel that it's a good fit for their journal, and they might have some other criteria as well to decide on the quality and everything, if they feel that it is a good fit, then only they send it to reviewers for their reviews. Usually 2 to 3 reviewers. Okay, so the first step is the time to first decision is the one that the editor will give you. they might tell you, they might come back after 30 days in this case. They might come back to you and say, oh, this work, it does not fit the scope of our journal. We don't, that's a pretty way of saying your work is not that good in their eyes, and which might not be the objective reality. Okay, so remember that it's just their perception of it, that one person's perception of it. And they might say, maybe you should transfer it to some other journal, or maybe it does not fit with our current priorities, all those kinds of reasons or polite ways of rejection. That's what they will do. And this is the time they will take, the journal editor, the editor-in-chief will take 30 days of time to get back to you and say your work does not fit. Or they might, alternatively, they might come and say, we like your work and we would like to send it for peer review now. And that's when they send it for peer review, and the peer reviewers will probably take a long time, might not be 145 days, but roughly, let's say, might be 145 days, you never know. But that's a lot of time, right? So the peer reviewers, they never accept, at least for me, in my personal experience, they have never accepted my work within one go. Usually the peer reviewers come back to you. They say that, look, we have this feedback for you. If you address it, then we will publish it. So that's the second round of review that, you submit, and there might be a third round. But if you are putting everything on paper correctly and maybe, making sure everything that they have asked for has been responded to, then probably within 114 days, 114 days in this case, they will say that, okay, so your work has been, accepted for publication, and now soon it will be published. So that's a good news. But the main point is, my point is that the first thing I look at is that how soon I can get rejected. That's the kind of mindset usually I have, that how soon I can get rejected by one journal so that I can submit to the next. If the editor-in-chief thinks it's a good idea to publish this, and usually I would say the reviewers do not say that it's unpublishable, because the editor-in-chief has already done this verification step. Okay, so usually the reviewers will just give you feedback. Sometimes they are major feedback, most of the times it's minor feedback, and you need to review it, do the corrections, make the changes. Also, you do not have to agree with everything, all the feedback that the reviewers are giving you. In fact, you can argue against what they're saying, and that's perfectly fine. But for now, just understand that we got this list. So we're trying to find our journal. So we have an abstract. We put that on this website, Journal Finder, and now we are searching for it. And we are looking at the time to get first decision. So information not available here. Okay, fine. 49 days. Okay, 30 days. 30 days looks nice to me. But I have seen journals who even give it within 2 days. So, okay, so 37 days, okay, 18 days, this is better, but this is case report. So mine is an empirical paper, so it's probably not the best place to publish. No information available, okay. 1 day, okay, this is good. I like this, okay. I very much like this, because it's just 1 day within which they will tell you if your paper has been accepted or rejected. So that's really, really good. I'll probably go with that. Now, you can go through the others as well. That's fine. Again, here 1 day as well. General Hospital Psychiatry. This paper also has 1 day. That's good. So you'll find those kind of, quick journals, let's say. They make the decisions quickly and it's good for you. You don't have to wait. So that's what I would go for. And once that is fixed, okay, I want to submit to this journal. The next thing I need to look at is, there are two options, open source and subscription. What this means is that you can submit to the journal and they will sell your article to universities and to the public. And basically they will hide your work behind a paywall. And of course, they will not pay you. Do not make this mistake. So they will not pay you a penny. I mean, yes, it's your work but they will make all the money out of, by selling your article. That's the tragic fun of this academic publishing world at the moment. So that's the one option we have. You can just submit this to the article. They will take it for free. I mean, they will not charge you any money because they will sell that article to other people and make a lot of money out of it. Okay. But there is this other option where is open source, in which you can pay the journals an upfront about $3,000 or something as article processing fee or article publishing fee. You need to pay that upfront. If your article gets accepted for publication, so then you need to pay that, and then they will publish it open source or open access, which means they will no more charge the public or the universities or any people who wants to read your work for behind a paywall. They will put it upfront, free for everyone, because you have already paid them this money. So they will not charge any money from anyone else. Okay. Now, the point is that this is a big money, right? So this is really, really big money. But the good part is you do not have to pay this from your pockets. If you are, let's say, like me, if you're working in or associated with any UK university or any university or in the developed country, mostly in the developed country, I would say, so you can tell your university to pay this fee for you on behalf of you. Okay. Now, how do you find that? So I'll show you how to find that. So usually your librarian will have this information. At the moment I'm affiliated, I work at University of Kent, and on their website, it says that they have some publishing agreements, read and publish agreements with certain publishers. So what that means is that University of Kent is paying these journals this money. They have some agreement which makes it free for you to publish here. Open access. Now, open access is always the preferred option. It looks good on your CV because the academic world at large at the moment are going towards open access, making things free for all. That's the kind of movement we are moving ahead. And yeah, so that's what this is the preferred option, and plus it makes it free for all, which is nice because more people can read it without hassle and they can cite you more, so you'll get probably more citations as well. So that's good, right? But I can imagine if you are working in, let's say, some university which struggle with funds, they probably do not have this much of big money. A lot of my colleagues at the Indian universities say their universities do not have publishing. They do not cover the APCs. They don't have that much of money. So you have to you're kind of forced to publish here for the subscription model. So where it's free for you, but the journals make a lot of money, but they don't pay you any money anyway. Okay, but that's the option anyway. So I said about the open access. Now, what you can find, assume that your university has some kind of publishing agreement, which you can check with the librarian. So what you can do is just go, and there should be a kind of search, and it varies from university to university. But let's say that your university has a search engine like that, where you can search for these journals which are under their contract, which they will cover. Okay. I checked the mental health and prevention one. I like this one. So let's see if it is there in University of Kent's list. Yes, it's there. What that means is that they will cover my cost, which is good, right? So that makes me happy. So what I can do is I can just click here, submit paper, and that's it. So that's how I found my journal, the journal of my dreams. Now, that said, Elsevier is not the only publisher. It's one of the major ones, but there are others. So alternative way of finding a journal is, once you have done your research paper, once you have written the references section, for example, discussion and everything is done, in your reference section, you can go through the similar studies which you have cited because they were so important and relevant to your topic, and maybe they did something very similar research in the past. So you can see which journals they have published, those researchers have published in. That will give you some hint that which journals are likely to accept your work. And you can, in your cover letter, when you, of course, you need to submit a cover letter when you are submitting for publishing in one of these journals. Now you need to write this, that to the editor-in-chief for, let's say, mental health and prevention, and you can tell that, dear, I'm submitting this because it falls under your it aligns well with the kind of publications you have done in the past, for example, this and that, and my work is very similar to these, so I'm hoping that you'll find this useful and relevant and falls within the scope of your journal. So you can do this. That's the second approach. The first approach is, like I said, use these kind of tools that are available from Elsevier and other, I'm sure Sage and Springer will probably come up with something like this sooner, or later. Other major journals will do that. But other than that, you can check the reference list of your research or your thesis and find out that which journals you cited the most, where people interested in your kind of topic or your research question are publishing their papers, or where people papers are getting accepted. But that probably increases your chances of getting published as well. So that's one way to do this. So yeah, that's it. Thank you for listening and happy publishing.